Welcome. I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy spatchcock turkey that is ready in 90 minutes or less. This turkey is super juicy, but because it's butterflied, it comes out so much quicker. I am using a 10-pound turkey today, and it looks a little ugly, but I have just been air drying this in the fridge with a little bit of salt on the skin. I put about 2 tablespoons of salt on this turkey and let it chill and dry overnight. I'm now going to begin taking out the backbone and trimming the turkey. I'm using a pair of regular kitchen shears to cut off the tail, and I've already taken out the neck and as well as the little giblets. I'm going to be using these kitchen shears as well as a kitchen knife and a cleaver to get out this backbone. Now, if you do not have all of these, you can get your butcher to do this for you, or if you have a pair of poultry shears, that would be better, but I didn't have them, so I just used what I had on hand. I initially used the shears to start to cut the backbone out, and then I went in with my chef knife and I cut through the weaker, more fragile bones in the backbone of the turkey. I then flipped it over and I did the exact same thing on the other side. Of course, be very careful with this. This is a very dry turkey, so it's not going to slip. Do not do this on a wet turkey or you can risk injuring yourself. Now, when I got to the end of the backbone, I needed a cleaver just to not whack through that wishbone, and I got out the turkey back. Now, I need this turkey to lay flat to speed up the cooking time. So I just take my cleaver and I give it a nice whack, and it breaks through that bone that's connecting the breastbone together. At this point, my turkey will lay flat. This is the most efficient way to cook a turkey because by laying it out, you really even out the cooking time. You don't have dry breast meat, and the dark meat stays really juicy as well. I press on it just to ensure that it's flat, and I take out that little thermometer because I don't really use that, and I go over this with my paper towel just to ensure that it's dry. I also flip it over and I do the exact same thing on the other side. Just want to get off any excess moisture so that you can encourage the skin to become crispy and beautiful and brown. I'm going to transfer this to a regular baking sheet, and I'm going to begin to prep my seasonings. Of course, I'm using the Thanksgiving Trinity, sage, thyme, and rosemary. For a citrus flavor, I'm going to use lemon and orange, a stick of softened butter. I'm using 2 tablespoons of roasted garlic paste, as well as 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise and a 1-ounce packet of dry ranch mix. I'm also using a teaspoon of seasoned salt and a teaspoon of pepper. To start, I'm going to prep the sage leaves. I'm using 4 small sage leaves. Now, I am not a big fan of strong sage flavor. This is pretty much the only time of the year I use sage, so 4 is plenty for me. If you are a huge fan of sage, feel free to use more. I'm going to pluck the leaves off of all of the thyme and give that a nice little quick chop, and just pluck off the rosemary leaves and give that a nice chop as well. Fresh herbs always brighten up a turkey, and I think they're really essential. Now, this is my 1 stick of softened butter. To this, I'm going to be adding the seasoned salt and pepper, all of the herbs, and the zest of the lemon and the zest of the orange. I don't use the juice. Use that in a different recipe. The zest is enough to give it a strong citrus flavor. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of that roasted garlic paste, and I'm going to mix everything together. You could also substitute 6 fat cloves of garlic in this. Now, for the outer layer of the turkey, I'm using the mayonnaise and the ranch seasoned mixture. You may be wondering if this has a strong ranch flavor. It does not at all. It does not taste like ranch at all, but it gives it a nice herby, milky flavor, and it makes the best pan drippings. I would not advise using fresh garlic on the top of the bird because it will burn. This is also why you don't see me putting the fresh herbs in this. It will burn and look like little bits of charcoal on the turkey, and I really don't like that. Now to prep, we're going to start putting all this turkey together. This was very quick. This did not take no time at all. This is a cup of broth, and of course those are my 2 compounds. Now I am going to reach under that skin and try to create a little pocket between the breast meat and the skin. I use a pair of shears just to cut through a little bit of stuff that was holding that skin to that meat, and I was able to freely get under that bird and loosen that skin. Do not forget to take your hand and get under those thighs and that drumstick as well. We are going to be putting butter back there too. I know it's dark meat, but it still needs flavor and it still needs a little bit of love, guys. So I just take a little bit of that softened butter and I put it in the middle of the bird, and I will be working to slowly massage this bird with the butter and just spread the butter out. Again, don't forget to put it under that thigh and that drumstick as well. This is going to help self-baste the bird while it cooks. We're going to be cooking this bird at a high temperature very quickly, and you really aren't going to need the base if you use this butter and this mayo mixture together. Because this is going under the skin, that is why I'm putting the fresh herbs under there. Now for the top of the bird, just slather it with that ranch mixture. Now if you have not pre-salted your turkey and left it out overnight, as I said I did in the beginning, you could also go in and add about a tablespoon of salt to the bird after you add on the mayonnaise. I'm not going to do that because that would then make my bird overly salty. So just determine however you want to season and do yours. Of course, I'm also going to be putting it on the back, and this is plenty of seasoning for this bird, and I'm going to use a little bit of the leftover mayo under the skin because I don't want to waste any of that goodness. I'm going to put in my chicken broth on the pan so that, you know, it kind of helps the bird stay moist, and I'm going to bake this bird at 450 degrees for about an hour. I have a 10-pound bird, so you need to do yours for as long as it takes to get your bird to 160 degrees, and then the carryover temperature, it will come up to 165. I added these little foil packets to the top because it was starting to get a little bit too brown and I did not want it to get burnt looking. Now I took some foil and I covered the turkey for about 15 minutes to let it rest and just let the juices collect, so when I cut into it, it would not lose all its juiciness. Just set it aside with some foil and it'll be good to go. Now a spatchcock turkey can still look amazing, guys. I took this bird and I put it on a cutting board. I put a little kale on it, and then I added some delicious fruits and veggies just to make it look super beautiful. And I think this is Thanksgiving worthy. This is worthy of the table. What do you think, guys? I hope you love this recipe and you subscribe to this channel for more quick, easy recipes on Kamira's Kitchen.